Good morning. Fuck. Just set up my stuff. That's not working very well. It's not wanting to balance. Okay. Hello. I'm Alyssa. I'm an activator and disruptor, a conscious evolution coach for creative nonconformists. And I want to talk about resistance and your great work. If you haven't listened to me, or not familiar with me, or maybe you just haven't heard it yet, I've created a container for creatives to unleash their great work and get fucking paid for it. And it's called Kill Resistance. And I'm really excited about it. And I was reading in this book this morning by Steven Pressfield. He's the author of The War of Art and also many other amazing books. This one's Do the Work. And I wanted to share with you a little bit about resistance and then also another interpretation of what I believe resistance is. Hi, Holly. So, let's see. Is this the part that I want it to be? Yeah. So, I think this is really important. Okay. So, there are several things that are super important as a creative to in bringing forth our great work into the world, okay? There's a list in this book that I'd like to share with you. There's 6 things in this book, and they are our allies. Stephen calls them our allies. So the first is stupidity, and the second is stubbornness. The third is blind faith. It's one of my favorites. The fourth is passion. The fifth is assistance, which he says is the opposite of resistance. So getting that support that you need to bring your work into the world. And then number 6 is friends and family. So I wanted to focus on blind faith for a moment, though, and highlight this one really quick. So he says, is there a spiritual element to creativity? Hell yes. Our mightiest ally, our indispensable ally, is belief in something we cannot see, hear, touch, taste, or feel. Fuck yes. It's so important to understand that our physical, what we can see right now, is history. It's already happened. If it is manifest in the physical now, it's already done. Like the energy that it took to bring the formless into form has popped into this dreamscape. It's already manifest, right? So when we look at what is in front of us with our eyeballs, we're seeing history. We're seeing a result. It's already done. And so when we give our power away to something that's already history, we are like in a perpetual loop, like a hell loop of saying, okay, well, you know, like for example, if you're in a circumstance where you're giving your power away, you're saying, well, I can't create my art. I can't focus on what this thing that I want to focus on because this is happening in my circumstances, or this person is interfering, or whatever it may be for you, right? That's all circumstantial. Don't give your fucking power away to that, okay? So that's already, you get to decide. You get to decide. The things outside of you do not. They only hold power over you if you've given it to them, okay? So also anything that you disown, deny, reject, or repress is holding your power. It's holding massive amounts of your power. Because as a human, we want to separate things. This is good, this is bad. This is me, this is not me. That thing is not me. The moment that you deny, disown, reject, or repress any aspect of your reality or others as not you, as separate, you literally give your power away to that, because you are all of it. So the more of that you can reclaim, and the more of that you can understand is like you as the infinite God creator that you are, the more power you get to reclaim. And you get to reclaim your power from those things, okay? That's so, so important when you want to be, like, if you are here to really be a deliberate God creator. It's like so, so critical. And we're human, right? So this is the human part of us is this aspect of us that we chose to be. We chose to come here to forget who we are and play in this realm of form of time and space to create an epic movie that we are creating through this human form and existence. As infinite creators, we sought to know ourselves. What is it like to have limitations and lack? What is it like to be in this illusion, which is an illusion? We are, if you think about it as like, we are so fucking powerful that we literally designed this illusion to be so believable that we bought into it. Like, what other way could we have this experience as being humans if it didn't seem absolutely believable? Like, how would it work as God creators seeking to express ourselves in infinite aspects and to seeking to experience ourselves in some kind of lack and limitation so that we could know ourselves more in this way? Like, how would it work unless we had to trick ourselves? We had to make it so it was so believable. So the human aspect of us is one part, right? And the important thing that I'd like to, point out is that when we're over identified with that human aspect is when we are not allowing our deliberate creatorship to come through, when we are not allowing our great work to come through, because we're so like we close off our ability to really remember that we're God creators, right? So resistance wants to rattle that faith, that blind faith. Resistance wants to destroy it. There's an exercise that Patricia Madsen describes in her wonderful book, Improv Wisdom. This woman taught improvisational theater at Stanford. Thank you for the love. So she taught improv at Stanford. So imagine a box with a lid and hold that box in your hand. And now open it. What's inside? For me, I just saw a chunk of gold. So it might be a frog, a silk scarf, a gold coin. But here's the trick. No matter how many times you open that box, there's always something in it. Ask me my religion, that's it. That's what he says. I believe with unshakable faith that there will always be something in the box. So that's the blind faith aspect. So I love this book and I highly recommend it. So the other thing I wanted to say is to speak to resistance, okay? Because resistance is so huge, and this is all about like what I have created for creators to support you in unleashing your great work into this world and activating your God consciousness. Resistance is invisible. Resistance is pervasive. It's insidious. It's everywhere, right? And so like anytime there is a calling of creativity and you feel this, there is always going to be this equal and opposing force of resistance. And I believe that the resistance is not only just this, this sense of feeling like we're pushing against something, but there's actually very specific ways that this resistance shows up that I feel like are really, really important to also understand and identify. And those are like the shadow selves that can that we don't really want to look at. And it's the aspects of our human consciousness, like I was speaking about, that when we over-identify as a human and we're like so, entrenched in survival because there's so much programming, right? Like we're not the program, we are God. We are not the program, we are God. And when we are identifying with the program, when we are in the resistance, and the resistance we're feeling, I feel like it's directly related to or correlated to the survival consciousness. And the survival consciousness can be linked to very specific archetypal energies. And, Jung taught about this. Carolyn Mace is a really amazing woman who's really taken the archetypal exploration to the next level. Robert Ohotto, if you've never heard of him, he's a brilliant astrologer, but he's way more than an astrologer. He takes astrology and archetypal energies and really helps you deeply understand the patterns in human behavior. And he's fucking brilliant. So Robert Ohotto, if you've never heard of him. So those are just a few of the people that come to mind when I'm thinking about archetypes. And there are like 4 main archetypal energies that I believe that are really intertwined with resistance. And those are the victim archetype, the child archetype, the saboteur, and the prostitute. So all of those energies, they're basically like the 4 main survival archetypes. And you can kind of trace, like, if you're experiencing resistance, I believe you can kind of trace them back to those energies. And they're really specific like voices or thoughts that you will have that are like directly related, that you can trace back to those survival energies. And those it's commonly called like shadow, because essentially what we do is like we don't want to bring that to light, right? However, if you start to notice the way that, or you start to notice those thoughts that come up and the resistance that you're experiencing, you can really start to link them back to these survival archetypes. And the power in that is that once you recognize, you have the awareness of those voices, and then you recognize, like, oh, it's like, I can see how this is linked to this aspect of my survival. You can actually transmute that energy and free up and liberate so much power within you, because you are essentially taking something that was like you were unwilling to acknowledge about yourself, and so essentially giving your power away to, looking at it and alchemizing it with reminding yourself of the truth of who you are. And it opens up space in your energy, in your body, in your energy field, to allow yourself to stream consciousness, which is the truth of who you are. You are God consciousness, light consciousness. It opens your channel, essentially, is the best way that I can say it. It's like opens up space for your creativity to come through when you are not, experiencing so much resistance and the shadow energy. And this is just so important, and it feels like this is the most important work for me and for the people that I serve, to really understand and to be able to alchemize this and transmute these energies, because you need to get your work out there. It wants to come through. It's like really wanting to come through. And so anytime that we're not allowing our work to come through, we'll experience a lot of very familiar things, right? Familiar things as in like addictive behaviors, as in, unnecessary drama and just stuff that it's like we say that consciously we don't really want, but actually we do. On some unconscious level, we actually want it, because having is evidence of wanting. So I feel complete in this message right now, and I just want to share with you, before I hop off of here, I've created a 30-day container for creatives, and it's called Kill Resistance, and it's specifically for creatives to, the result for you is to have your course, offering, program, whatever it is for you, to be fucking done by the end of this 30 days. So we get you to a place of owning your fucking value, owning your worth. And the reason why I've created this is because this has been my biggest learning curve, and my biggest challenge is really owning my fucking value and my worth. So that's directly related to the prostitute channel and the shadow archetype. And then the flip side of that, when you start transmuting that and alchemizing, is the lover. And that is really about being unfucking shakeable in your self-worth and value, because worthiness is actually like, when you really get down to it, it's just a made up construct anyway. Like, you get to decide that you're worthy. It has there's no reasoning, there's no evidence behind worth. It is literally like inherent and always there no matter what, because you're God. So anyway, the result of this container is just fully owning standing in your value and worth. So knowing that you're unshakable, unfuckwithable with your creation, actually having a creation at the end of the 30 days, because that's one of the hardest parts. And like I was talking about in this book, of the allies that you have as a creator are assistants, which is the opposite of resistance, right? So I am the assistance. I support you in owning your value, bringing that work into the world, and then positioning you to fucking sell it. You get to be paid money, a lot of money, whatever you want, right? You get to decide that and really fucking own it. So that's it. That's what I'm offering right now, and I invite you to inquire about that if it's something that you're interested in doing. If it's something that, if you're in the space of like, oh yeah, that's where I'm at, like I know that I have this thing, or maybe you've already created part of it and you're just hiding it, or you're just holding on to it, and you're ready to just bring it out, like bring it out, share it. You know that there's so much value and worth in it. Thank you. And it's meant to be out there, you know, like if you have a desire in your heart to do and serve, it is meant to be. There are others out there that are meant to receive that, and so you need to stop withholding that. Whoa, 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 whoa! Oh my god, a hummingbird literally is like almost came into my face. I don't know if you guys heard that, but that was a nice sign. Okay, so I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, kill resistance, the container for creatives to unleash their great work, create your tangible offering, and get fucking paid is open. So private message me if you're interested in that, and we can have a little chat. We can discuss the details and see where you're at. I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching. Bye.